Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk It Out podcast. I'm your host, Alec Lifshos, a.k.a. Trey Busy. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. It's September 26, 2019. This will be the last Thursday for the month of September. Unfortunately, some of the conversations I've had in the month of September have impacted my life as well as the others that listen to it. The month of September is known as Suicide Prevention Month. So I've been trying to keep the series and the conversation relevant to that topic. Before I go too much further, I want to thank Tia Smith for coming on last week. Tia came on and she shared a little bit about, her professional work as a nurse, but also about her program she started called Be Mindful Life and her plans and her goals to help impact others. And it's very powerful that she's going, not only working as a nurse. Working as a nurse is hard enough. If you listen to last week's episode, you'll know that the amount of stress that's put on you when you're in the medical field. But for her to go ahead and do that and in her free time work towards helping others by starting Be Mindful Life, it was great to hear her be out passionate about that. Before I transition into tonight's conversation, I would like to give a shout out to Celicia Grant. Celicia, she gave birth yesterday to her baby boy, a healthy baby boy. And I just want to again congratulate her on her and give her a shout out on that. So now to the topic at hand. I'm not alone tonight. I have a very, very special guest. I reached out to her. We had a conversation. I just invited her on the show. And I feel like everything happens for a reason. I mean, me reaching out to her, me connecting with her was really relevant to what I wanted to talk about for the month of September. So I did everything in my power to make sure that I got her on this month. Janae, how are you doing tonight?
I am fine. How are you?
I am blessed. I am blessed to be here and be sitting here having this conversation with you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being so willing to come on in such short notice.
Good. I appreciate it.
So, Janae, I want you to tell people a little bit about yourself and why you're passionate about mental health.
Well, I have had some experiences with some people in my past with mental health issues, and I wasn't too aware of what was going on. Someone very dear to me, my cousin, he suffered from some different mental health problems and some childhood issues, and he ended up committing suicide based off of things not being dealt with. It's something that we don't like to talk about, or we don't like to go to a therapist or see anyone to get help for those things. So I kind of just wanted to keep his memory and legacy alive and just kind of build off of that. And mine is more so geared towards suicide. But with that being said, of course, mental health is a big part of that.
Absolutely. Janae. And I just want to say, again, I do appreciate you coming on. So Janae, she's started a nonprofit organization called BAlive, and that's capital B, capital A Live. And again, she's passionate about suicide because, again, she said it immediately affected her with her cousin. So can you tell me a little bit about, obviously your organization is suicide prevention, but tell me a little bit about how does it work? How do you go about?
So basically, I don't know. Do you want to just know about you want to know what drove me to start it, or just about the organization in itself?
First, I want to know, I kind of have an idea, but just what drove you to start it? What you laying around one day and you just like, you know what, I need to do something? Just, I want to learn about what drove you to start it. Then I want to know about the organization later on. Okay,
cool. So, my cousin, we were extremely close. We were living together, and he had, like I said, he had some issues, family issues. Mom, dad not around, mother busy, not really paying attention or giving like that motherly love. So he kind of went out and did things that were not nice or good, and things that people wouldn't think that he should, do, stealing or, whatever. And so everyone pretty much turned their back on him. I was still that one that was always there with him. He was staying with me. We had some issues. I did ask him to get out on this particular day in hand, and he I went downstairs to do something, and while I was downstairs, he actually shot himself. And when I went upstairs, I had to find him sitting in the closet, and he had shot himself. He had put the gun in his mouth and shot himself. We called 911. We had to pull him out of the closet and do CPR. It was very, very scary, crazy, devastating, everything that you can think of. In that, I dealt with a lot behind it, kind of like survivors, guilt, and I'm kind of feeling like, dag, I shouldn't have said get out, or because right before I went downstairs, he was like, well, where else should I go? You're all that I have. So with that, I kind of beat myself up behind it, because it was like, had I not said that, maybe he would still be here. And rewind a little bit, 2 days prior to it happening, he actually told me that he had thought about doing it. Myself and his friend were sitting on the couch, and he had said that he had thought about doing it that day, and we kind of laughed it off like, yeah, right. You're not going through anything. Nothing's really wrong with you. And then he actually did it 2 days later. So it kind of just took a toll on me, and actually on his other friend as well, because it was like he actually said it, and we kind of, brushed it off. We were 19, 20 years old, so we didn't know the signs of bipolar or schizophrenic or, someone who wants to commit suicide. Like, we didn't really know. We just, as a child, especially in the African American community, you're taught to be strong and shake it off, get up, be a big boy, don't cry, whatever. So it's just really like something that we just laughed about, like, man, suck it up. And he actually did it. In that, his parents did not want to admit or have any blame in his actual feelings behind it. They basically accused me of murder. And it was like, either I killed him or I allowed someone to come in my home and kill him and let them run off into the sunset. And I just pretend like it was a suicide. Of course, the police came. Of course, they worked on him in the house. And of course, they asked me what happened. I was never arrested. I was never taken to the station for questioning or anything like that. The body was autopsied, and it was ruled a suicide. And that was that. I had to face issues with girls and guys and rumors, and because he and I also went to school together, so everyone around us knew us, but they didn't know what to believe and what not to believe, and it was just a lot of drama surrounding it. So I went through a lot of like emotional turmoil after this happened. Our families were at odds. Everyone was like just ready to just, attack. And it was crazy. And so the day that he was actually laid to rest, I was not even allowed to go to the funeral. I received a phone call maybe 2 hours prior to the funeral, and I was told that they did not want me to show up at the funeral, that I couldn't come in, and, I needed to just say my goodbyes and leave before the funeral actually started. Years later, it kind of blown over, and families are back kind of functioning a little bit better. But of course, I didn't do it. And it just shows how much people don't want to accept that someone would do that. For me, it's kind of something that I really don't talk about often. I also should have probably gone to see someone, and I didn't. I just kind of coped with it. But in honor of my cousin, I decided to do BAlive. His name was BJ. So BAlive really just fit the whole, everything about suicide for me, because I want people to be alive. I want people to understand that it's okay to talk to somebody, even though we're taught as kids to toughen up and have tough skin and, whatever. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to talk about those things and, not be made fun of, and, just for us to be able to actually live our lives and not feel, like we're weird or any different than anybody else because things aren't going the way we want. And normally people who feel like they want to commit suicide, it's outside of the relationship issues or the mental health issue aspect of it, because some may say they hear noises or voices or what have you that tell them to do it, but outside of that portion of it, it's something that they cannot do. Like, they can't provide for their families, or they're homeless, or something like that. So I decided to start BAlive in honor of him, but also to help everyone understand, know the signs and symptoms, recognize them, and just kind of soften their hearts to people when they say it. Because a lot of people feel, oh, well, if they were going to really kill themselves, then they wouldn't have said anything. But that's not true. Sometimes they really are hoping that one person would just reach out and help them so they won't have to do it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Well, first of all, everybody in the chat room, they're saying they're sorry for your loss. They're sorry that you had to go through what you had to go through a time of grief. I mean, that just speaks to how incredibly strong you are as a person to be grieving, and also have people say that it's your fault that happened. You have people talking about murder. Like, come on now,
right?
I can't imagine where you were at mentally. For you to be, now you just lost your cousin that you're close to, and now you're being blamed for that. They're saying that you did it. And
right.
Then to be told that you can't come to the funeral 2 hours before it is, I mean.
Right.
Again, Janae, that speaks to how strong you are as a person, for you to be able to just not be broken from that. Like, a lot of people aren't strong enough mentally to be able to make it through that without having a breakdown.
At that time, I dealt with it, but at that time I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I had nightmares. It was a very devastating time. It was like every time I went to close my eyes, I would see that vision of him in the closet. You know what I mean? So it was very, very hard to deal with. And then to have, people saying what they were saying and implying murder, it was just like, it was definitely hard to deal with. Now I'm able to talk about it and be transparent with it, but it took some time for sure.
And that's totally understandable, because not only are you you're coping with loss as well, but it's even twice as traumatic. Because I just, like I said, I can't imagine myself going through that, because that's again, I mean, even when you initially told me about it, it's like, to actually like hear it in your voice, to hear the trauma in your voice talking about it, like there's like a little tremble, just for you to say that, man, they blame that on you while you're experiencing the loss.
Yeah.
So
it still bothers me, but like I said, I'm able to talk about it a little bit more now, but it's definitely, and I'm trying to be able to be transparent, because I know what I went through and what I've experienced will help someone else. So I need to be more comfortable with expressing everything, but it was definitely devastating, and I appreciate everyone's condolences and everything.
And I very much am thankful that you were able to come on to the show tonight, for you to share the reason behind your nonprofit organization. I see your slogan for your organization is "There's purpose for your pain."
Mm-hmm.
There's purpose for your pain. I want to read something from the chat room. B. Schultz, my mom, says, "I'm glad the signs of suicide is being taught and the seriousness of the cry for help. When someone say they want to not live anymore, it's a very loud cry for help. Great work on how you are doing, and what you are doing is honor."
Thank you.
So
it's really big.
So, your slogan, "There's purpose for your pain." Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what does that saying mean to you?
Everyone, in my opinion, some people have what we feel is a perfect life, but it may not be so perfect to, someone else. So someone may have been molested or raped or had parents who were on drugs, anything that has caused any sort of serious pain. And I honestly just feel that there's some sort of purpose. Like, I don't want to go get too spiritual and, bring all that into it, because, that's just a different conversation. But I honestly feel like things happen to you and they make you stronger, and then it's up to you to use that pain to help someone else. So if you were a victim of domestic violence, someone else can see the strength in you. Someone else can see how you were able to, you might have stayed for 5 years, but eventually you got the strength and the courage to walk away and build an organization or start a business or do whatever that man or woman said that you were not able to do, and pull strength from you. So it's just, for me, I feel like everyone endures some sort of pain for a purpose. And whether it's to, whether it's like you're whooping or what have you, to show you, that you need better, you need to do better, or just to drive you to help other people. Because I mean, when we see someone else, when we can hear someone else's success story, it will motivate us to stand on our feet and do what they did, most of us. So I just honestly feel like it's a purpose behind it. You can help someone based off of everything that you've been through. Just even if you only touch one person, your purpose was fulfilled.
Excellent. Very wow. I'm just, like, I'm so taken back by it. Obviously, I knew there was going to be a powerful message behind it. So when you say you don't want to go into it, I mean, spiritually, the Let's Talk It Out podcast, I'm not sure if you're familiar or not. This is an unedited truth on this podcast. I don't like anything that's just surface. I want you to go into depth with anything. Sometimes people are passionate. They start talking about the word. Some people are passionate. They start using profanity. I mean, however you want to express yourself, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to bottle something up. This platform was created for people that come on to express themselves as honestly, as openly as they can, and they don't have to feel like they're offending somebody.
Okay.
I mean, when I put it on the podcast stream, there's a little E next to it that says, it stands for, explicit. So there's no limitation on the conversation that we can have. I mean, we've
okay.
Just throw that out there for you, so you can feel comfortable if you want to talk about, the spiritual background of that saying, or how you feel about it. There's purpose for your pain. That works fine for me. BAlive Show says, great perception, all point for overcoming pain for a greater purpose. I want to ask you. So you told us a little bit about why it started. So tell me a little bit about, what do you plan on doing with this organization, BAlive? What's BAlive going to be about? How's it going to positively affect others?
So it's been in motion since like 2013, but of course you have different situations that happen in life that kind of throw you off track. But I do feel like everything happens for a reason and on time. So right now I've been putting everything behind it, and just as soon as I started really like hitting the ground, you reached out. I've been getting a lot of people wanting to partner and help me, actually be able to come out and actually talk about it amongst a lot of different peers and cultures and groups. So it's working out just how I needed it to. But my goal is actually to do a lot of outreach, to basically speak wherever I can speak, help people understand signs and symptoms of, people who are going through any type of suicidal thoughts or bouts in their life, but also try to speak on it because I'm coming from two different angles. I'm coming from actually being someone that was there and having the guilt, because when you go ahead and you kill yourself, I can tell you how your family is going to feel or how they're going to react. Because I guarantee you, when my cousin did it, he never would have thought that I was been accused of killing him. You know what I mean? Like, I know that's not what he thought, but just so other people can see, like, Dag, when you do this now, this is going to go somewhere totally different. Like, this could potentially cause a lot more issues for somebody else, and then make my cousin want to kill herself, or make my mother want to kill herself, or, whatever. So I want them to see a lot of different angles. I want them to see the person the people who are going to hurt and how they're going to feel afterwards, and just how selfish it is, but then how they can also overcome it. I've spoke at some places, and people have actually come to me afterwards and said how much I helped them, and they actually emailed me, and we've like spoken. I have mentees now and everything that I'm helping and working with, and I really didn't know that was going to be my purpose. I didn't know that was going to happen. And it actually did. And at first it was kind of rough because I had a mentee who actually tried to kill herself and actually went into the hospital, and I beat myself up for it for like a week straight because I'm like, dang, I failed her. You know what I mean? But um, she didn't die, so she's still here. So I'm still working with her. But ultimately, my goal is to open up a resource center, and in that resource center, provide all of the resources, like what I spoke about earlier, helping find housing, helping find jobs. I want to partner with people in different organizations, temp agencies, and what have you to provide jobs for people, whether it's barber colleges, truck driving schools for people with felonies. I want to help young girls understand that they can't go to an interview with bright red lipstick, bright red nails, a mini skirt, and stiletto heels, and big hoop earrings, popping chewing gum, thinking that someone's going to hire them. So mock interviewing, resume writing, typing, CPR classes, just offer a lot of different resources in the community to help people overcome whatever obstacles, if it's providing for their family, just, not feeling good about themselves, maybe getting them some clothes or, different things, whatever. So it's definitely um, grind season for me to do fundraising and different things like that to open up the center. But in the meantime, a lot of outreach, speaking, just making sure that everyone understands that it's not just a typical, if they really wanted to do it, they wouldn't have said anything, because that's not the reality. Like sometimes that one phone call, them saying something, is really just saying, could you help me? And if they don't get the help, it could push them to do it.
Well, it sounds like you have some really, really big goals and a great vision. I mean, some aspirations, serious aspirations to be able to open up that kind of community center that's going to give people that much resources. That's incredible. A lot of times, that's wow. A lot of people don't really give a damn about felons.
Right.
They don't care about felons. It's like once you're in the system, you're in the system. Good luck.
But it's not, but I know someone personally who did time for almost a decade, and he discovered that he was an artist, and he's really, really good. He can paint and draw and whatever. And he has come out, and now he's like doing major things in the community back at home. The news is featuring him. The local newspaper is featuring him and things like that. So you don't have to be, that doesn't have to be the end of the world because you're a felon. Like, people go to jail to be reformed. You know what I mean? And some people come back out and have to resort back to whatever sent them because the community, won't give them anything. We won't help them achieve anything. Like, you just did 10 years and you mean to tell me I expect you to be the same person you were 10 years ago? The world has evolved and changed so much in 10 years, even 5 years. So why would I think that you would still be the same person you were when you went in? Will you resort back to that person when you come home if there's nothing for you? Absolutely. But why not give you a shot? Because us without a felony, we can get fired today for coming in late, not performing, doing whatever, but we'll get a second chance at another job tomorrow. So, of course, I know that it's a crime that they may have committed or what have you, but they did their time. They paid for that. So I believe that they deserve at least another shot. And if they mess up, they lose their job, and that's just that. But at least let them, be able to try to do something different.
You want me to tell you a little secret?
Uh-oh. Sure.
I used to have a felony on my record. Shocker, right?
Yeah.
You pretty much you proved the point. You literally said everything that I felt. Nobody would have known that if I didn't say nothing about it, right?
Right.
Nobody would have known that. But again, giving somebody a second chance because they made a mistake when they were much younger. You never know what this person could do later on down the road. You never know what they learn. Again, my mom says there's much needed to prepare the youth for real life. The need to prepare people for the truth and reality. Maybe they don't know the truth or what's reality. Second chance to life success. Absolutely. Sometimes you have to get that dose of reality, at a young age. This is the path you're going down. This is what can happen to you if you don't change this, if you don't do something different. So I want to say, again, you are doing really big things, Janae. I mean, that goal and that vision is very admirable. I really wish you nothing but success with that, because truly, I mean, that's gonna make the difference and make a huge difference for someone to know that somebody actually cares about them even after they make like a huge mistake in life. You
Right.
know, for people to know that someone cares about them, someone's going out of their way to help them out with and set them up for real life. You know, someone wants to reach out to them. So again, like this whole month of September, I've been zeroing in on suicide prevention. You know, I have had conversations with different people, and we've been focusing on different ways to reach out to other people. You know, you said your cousin said that you guys think he's joking or something like that. You know, that's not something. You know, that's for me. I take that seriously. You know, even if I see somebody like they post about it on Facebook, I'll hit them up. If I know them personally, I'll call them. You know, like, man, what the hell is going on with you? You know. Oh man, I'm just, and I tell them like, man, don't play around like that. You know, people are out here, losing their lives. They're out here screaming out for help, and you're sitting there making a joke of it. You're making a mockery of it, right? I mean, 800,000 people every year take their own life. 800,000 people, and a lot of times the signs are there. You know, someone's just not just gonna just randomly do it. And without, there's signs there. There's something that leads up to them, a character change, a traumatic loss.
And it's even with my cousin. When I came home like 2 days in a row. But the irony of the situation was that I had just gotten a job offer to be a flight attendant. So I was getting ready to move to Phoenix, Arizona. I was like preparing for it. And they make you take this big old test where you have to know every single airport code and all type of different things. So I was so wrapped up in what I had going on that when I came home, he was sitting on the couch in the dark. So when I turned on the light, he scared the crap out of me because he was sitting on the couch in the dark. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he just was acting really, really weird, really, really strange. But of course, I'm 19 and I'm just like, this, whatever. And I just went back to studying and doing whatever. And then he did it again. And like, these are signs, like this person is changing. This person is doing things that are like depressing. You know what I mean? And I didn't even really realize it. And even when he said it, all of these things didn't click. It couldn't happen again because now anyone that shows anything even remotely close, I'm like you said, I'm inboxing, I'm texting, I mean, there's people who have commented on my post saying simple things like, I wish people understood, or I wish, and I'm like, hey, are you okay? Like, are you all right? Like, I don't know you, but do you need to talk? Like, and it took a toll on me initially at first because I wanted to help everybody. Like, I wanted to save the world. And then I feel like I'm petrified of when that one person, actually, I can't help them. I know that it's going to crush me, but I still feel like if I can talk you off the ledge today, then my job is done. I mean, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue to talk to you. But if I save you from it today, if just being able to talk to me and have someone listen, not judge you, and try to help you with whatever resources that I have, if that was all it took, I'm satisfied.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, one thing that, I always have to tell myself this because, again, I mean, it is devastating to know that you tried to help somebody and or someone's, you read some newspaper or you get like an article on Facebook saying how somebody has took their own life for this reason or that reason. It's devastating to us, and something that, it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow, is that you can't save everybody. You can't save everybody. It's a very hard pill to swallow. And it's again, I tell people, I encourage people all the time. This whole month, mostly I tell them to reach out to somebody, man. If someone pops up in your mind, they popped up in your mind for a reason. I keep drilling in other people's heads. This whole society is wrapped around. I'm not going to text somebody twice. If they don't respond to me, then I'm not going to hear from them. Sometimes you have to text somebody 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I'll blow somebody's phone up. You're going to respond to me. or else I'm gonna keep blowing. You gonna keep getting notifications.
Especially if I know you, because I'm coming to your house next.
See, I don't know. I don't have that kind of free time. I can't pop up at your house, but.
Oh. Well, I mean, I'm actually extremely busy, but if you're really close to me, I'm gonna have to make the time.
I'm gonna have to send for you. How about that? I'll send for you.
Okay.
It'll be like the movie Taken or something. You'll be walking your trash out the driveway and somebody pull up in a van, come grab you.
You have an acquired set of skills.
Exactly. And you're gonna pull up. You're gonna be at my house with a little bag on your head. They're gonna take it off. I'm like, hey,
what's going on here? Right.
So your phone not working or something? Like, I mean, I've been trying to contact you, buddy. What's going on?
There's drastic measures here, sir.
Hey, when you have connections, you make things happen, right?
Absolutely.
When there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
When there's a will, there's a way. So, I wanted to ask you a couple more questions, Janae.
Okay.
Do you have a therapist that you're seeing right now?
I do not.
You do not. So, how did you? I mean, I know you said over time. For me personally, if I would have experienced what you experienced with your cousin, I would probably have to be in therapy still to this day in regards to that. That's very traumatic, to say the least. To you come and you see this, this person that you my boy said, I'm talking about, that's extreme. What I said about picking somebody up in the van.
I'm telling you.
Hey,
I'm telling you, that is drastic.
I'm telling you, man. You better hope I don't got your address. I'll send somebody $300 in your address to go get you.
Jesus, I'm glad I'm not in Chicago.
So a reason why I asked, Janae, is like, how do you cope with that? I mean, I realize you said it's just now becoming easy for you to talk about it. Like, how do you,
It's still not easy.
I said easier.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's still not easy. I still, like you said, you could hear a tremble in my voice. And I didn't even know that I trembled a little bit. I just, but I guess it's just the reality of it is that it still hurts, and it's still, I don't know. Like I had to keep moving. That's just the person that I am. I'm always on the go. I'm always moving. I'm always just staying busy. So I kind of just bottle everything in and keep it moving. And I know that sounds crazy when I'm trying to promote mental health and suicide awareness and all of that, because this is like something that you should not do, and it can cause you to just lose it. And, I know that, but I honestly don't feel like I'm on the verge of losing it. I'm actually walking into a season where I'm feeling like this is my purpose and this is why this happened to me. And I'm like going to save every soul that I can save. And I don't know. I probably should have a therapist, but I don't.
Are you open for coaching?
I am.
Okay, well, you're about to get coached. Janae, bottling everything in, as you know, you said yourself, is not healthy. You are a strong individual for you to be able to go on and create this organization and, have everything planned out and work towards, making those things come into reality. Making those goals come into reality takes a lot of effort and a lot of determination. But for you to not do anything for yourself to mentally not move on past it, but become more accepting of it, because therapy is necessary. And for you to feel like you just want to bottle everything in, it has to come out somehow. And to me, that's how depression comes into play. When you're not expressing yourself like you should mentally, like you're just bottling things in, and like it starts to eat away at your soul a little bit after a while. But this is just me speaking from my experience, from conversations I've had with other professionals, other mental health professionals. Bottling things in is not healthy at all. You might start thinking about, you might have some situations you're thinking about now that you went through, a certain day where it's like the memories are heavier than others. So like you're putting yourself I'm pretty sure you have days that are harder than others because of that. Right. So I encourage you, even if it's just like a cup, just go see how you like it, and this thing about therapists, you have to find one that's right for you. Not every therapist is the same person. There's some people that you will connect with more than others, some that you feel more comfortable with than others. So you need to, just go once a month maybe. A lot of times people think you gotta go to therapy twice a week. You can go once a month or something, just to see how it is for you, right? I mean, it's not a good idea from my professional opinion for you to just bottle it in. It's not, because I've seen what that's done to people. And
Yeah.
again, like I said, I mean, for you to be able to be where you're at now without therapy for something like that, that's incredible. That's incredible. A lot of people would have been broken mentally from seeing that and experiencing what you experienced. So, but that's just my 2 cents.
Well, I have thought about it. I have I have other businesses and things going on in which, and I'm also a mom, so it's just like, do I really have time to go to the therapist's office to deal with this? No, because I know I'm sure I'll never be over it. But I'm able to work through it. But something that you said kind of resonated, because you really don't just bottling things up, and you may not know that that's the reason why you're on edge today. You know what I mean? Like, you may not really correlate the two. It just might be like, oh, I'm spazzing out on everybody right now, and you don't know why. So again, you make a good point. I probably should find one.
It's kind of like, the idea is like a tea kettle, right? You put the tea kettle on the stove, and you turn up the stove, and as it overheats a little bit, that's you're bottling it up. It's overheating, and then what happens, right? It explodes off the top. It blows a gasket. My mom says, you are channeling those energies and helping others. Those who help others, be sure you have someone you can connect with and help you through your trauma. Be open to take care of yourself. Speak with a counselor, and you don't want to experience burnout because you are so driven. Burnout is another thing that can happen, Janae. I mean, going that hard, especially at this type of field, suicide prevention, the conversations that you will have with others. Because again, I experience it myself. I have conversations with people on a daily basis. So some of their stories, they tell you about their life. They tell you about things that they lost. They tell you about things that they're taken away from them, times that they failed. And if you being a perfect person, empathy, like, you're going to take on those burdens from that person, just having that conversation, because you're going to feel bad for them. Even when you said earlier about how when someone try to take their life, it affects you because that's the kind of person you are. That's how your energy is. It's very important that you go get a release, and you have a release by therapy. You let it out, so that way you're able to go take in more. If you just keep taking on and on, that's not good for you. Eventually your drive does it becomes overcoming. Right. So, but that, again, that's just me, my coaching. You don't have to listen to me. You can do whatever you like. No, I'm kidding. But that's just, no, seriously though. Like, that's just how I feel, because that's me speaking from my perspective. If I didn't have an outlet, I would not be able to do what I do to help others. So I help.
No, well, it makes sense. I appreciate that. It makes sense.
And the only reason I asked is because, I mean, during the course of our interview, you didn't say anything about it. So I just wanted to see how you were handling it. Like, how, some people they meditate. Some people they medication. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of it, but people do medication, yoga, that kind. I mean, people have different ways of balancing it, and I just wanted to see how you cope with it, and for you to say you just bottle it in.
You were waiting on that?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to tell me, and it never came. So I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
A healthy balance of your work, home, kids, and proper self-care is important.
Agreed. So,
we are at the 40-minute mark. Janae, I wanted to ask you, do you have any last things you want to share with anybody in the chat room? Anything you want to say, last words of advice?
I just really, as I stated, I'm trying to just spread awareness in hopes to prevent people from wanting to kill themselves. It's becoming the norm in children, adolescents. It's not even just people are dying more from suicide, or almost just as much as blood pressure and diabetes and things of that nature now. Bullying, um, homosexuality, and things like that are playing a huge role into the youth. I'm here in Atlanta, and it's like on a rise in Douglasville County here. And I just want people to pay attention to their children, pay attention to their friends. Like you said, don't have this concept of, if I call you once or text you once and you don't answer, I'm done with it. We just won't talk or speak again for another 3 years until you call me. And we all go through things. We all are going to experience a season that was not as great as the last one or one before. And we can get so caught up in, as I stated, I was so excited about my career change and things like that, that I was, I completely ignored what he had going on. So when you have a friend going through something, or a family member that's going through something, and they're blowing your phone up, just answer. Even if you really just don't feel like being about it or don't want to hear it, just at least try to be a shoulder, excuse me, and actually, soften up a little bit, and just know, like, you could be the one thing, the one person that stops this person from taking their life. And you also can be the one person to be devastated because you didn't answer the phone, or you didn't call them back, or you didn't try one more time. And they did say something to you that, seemed a little off, but you blew it off because your boyfriend made you mad, or your wife didn't cook dinner last night, or whatever the crazy situation may be. So I'm on a mission, and I just want to encourage everyone to just listen and try to help whoever that acts as if they need some sort of help in order to not want to, kill themselves. So
I want to thank you, Janae, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come on and have this conversation with me.
Thank you for having me.
Suicide prevention, guys. I mean, even though next time I talk to you guys, it will be in the month of October, and Suicide Prevention Month will be over, I still want us to carry on that same energy all throughout the year of just reaching out to others and making sure that people are okay around us. And then, like I said, if someone doesn't respond to you, that doesn't give you a reason just not to keep, not just to give up talking to them. Maybe they didn't see their message, or maybe they're asleep at the time, whatever. Just, again, just reach out to people. Let them know that you care about them. Tomorrow will be the 27th of September. A year ago from tomorrow, I launched a podcast. Granted that it wasn't on my own network at the time, but the Let's Talk It Out podcast will be a year old tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited about where I'm at with the podcast in the year's time. To celebrate, I haven't announced on the radio yet, actually on the podcast yet, but I have been posting about it on social media. I said I'm launching 2 brand new shows on the podcast network. Ladies Talk It Out will be launching in October, and Addictions will be launching in November. So those are the big announcements for Let's Talk It Out and the direction it's moving in. It'll be a year old tomorrow, and there's 2 brand new shows coming to the network. So again, I really do appreciate everybody who supported me over the year of the existence of the podcast. I appreciate everybody who's helped me out any kind of way, a share, a like, a comment, a heart, anything. I mean, people that have been on as guests, I appreciate everybody who's been on as a guest. Janae, you included in that. The very last guest before the 1 year anniversary. I really do appreciate everybody for everything. My mom says, I appreciate your passion for being a voice to help save lives. Prayers for your endeavors, your strength, doors be open for the message revealed and lives transferred. A mission of a second chance. Thank you. She's talking to you, Janae, when she says that.
Thank you. Thank you. I received it. Thank you.
So I look forward to talking to you guys in the month of October, and I hope you guys have a good week.